In this video, I'm going to be sharing with you 20 different men's clothing brands that sell for a ton of money. Hey, I'm Lee Meyer, and I'm the founder of Listing of Freedom and the Empowered Reseller. And I help clothing resellers make more money without hustling harder. Let's get started. Before we jump on over to my computer to get started, I want to take a second to invite you to grab my free brands list. And in this list, I detail all of the brands that I have sold to help me make over $100,000 flipping used clothes on sites like eBay, Poshmark, and Mercari. You'll find the link to grab that free list in the description below this video. All right, so first up on this list is a brand that is called Dixon Flannel. Now, as the name might suggest, they make men's flannel button-up shirts. That's pretty much all they make. They make, a few other things like this sweatshirt, but the majority of sales, the majority of their items, the majority of items that you're going to come across are going to be button-up shirts. And the tags on these can be really, they're not the same. They're all different is what I'm trying to say. So this is what one of them looks like. That's another one. And then some of them can be really artsy, like they'll have designs on them. So this one has a Volkswagen Beetle. So the tags can be a little bit, difficult. They're not just like one tag. They don't just have one look. You will notice that the font for Dixon is very similar. That one's that one's obviously different. So just be on the lookout for these. And these selling prices, they're typical. You will get $30 to $50 for these button-up flannel shirts. Some might even go for a little bit over that. Next up is a brand that's called Rewin. I believe that's how you say it. And this brand has a tag on it that has a bird or maybe a sparrow. And the tag on that bird will be embroidered. And so you can see that there, what that tag looks like. And I have a tag here for you in a pair of pants. That's what it looks like in those pants. And so with Rewin, these are very high quality items. They're very well made. They're very thick material. And that can be an easy way to identify these, especially with things like the shorts. They can be actually pretty heavy. So like this one is probably going to be over a pound, just to give you kind of an idea of how much that weighs. It's not just like, a lightweight pair of shorts. And so these can sell for, jackets can sell for well over $100. Cargo shorts around $40 to $50. I've gotten that easily for them, and they are a very quick sell, this brand. Real quick before we jump into the rest of the brands, if you're enjoying this video and you love learning about new things to sell, go ahead and hit that like button to let me know to make more content like this. Next up is a brand that is called Ibex, and this is kind of an activewear brand. They make a lot of wool products. And so with this brand, on a lot of the outside of the items, you're going to find this embroidered head of an ibex, antelope or whatever that animal is. And that is on the outside on the item. The inside tag, this is one that does not have that ibex animal, but most of their tags are going to have that logo on the tag. And so with ibex, you're looking for anything, pretty much anything really with this brand. They're all good sellers. And like I said, a lot of them are wool or wool blend, 100% new wool. And these are some of the prices that you'll see for these. So like this jacket, a lightweight jacket here, it's nothing, huge or heavy. One sold for $72. And just, basic polo shirt is selling for $30+. So Henley shirt, $30. And so this is a really good brand to be on the lookout for. Next up is Lululemon. And if you are going, okay, I haven't had good luck with women's Lululemon items, the men's Lululemon items are a different story. So Lululemon women's can be a little bit hard to be able to sell. Some can take a while to sell. You may be sitting on them for a while. And it really does go back to how new that item is, what style it is, Is it a current item? What size is it? But with the men's items, that I do find that the men's Lululemon items sell better and they sell quicker. And so these shorts here, I've sold a few of these. These are they're called Pace Breaker. Those are selling for around $40. But pretty much with Lululemon, any of their men's items are going to be a pretty good find for the most part. So you can see like these joggers probably sold for around 50. If you're wondering, okay, it has a strikeout, what did it actually sell for? I do have a video on that where I show you how to look up sold prices. I'll leave the link for that up here for you. But the prices on these, you can see they're very, very good pair of pants here for $60 almost. The tags in the men's Lululemon, they're going to be more likely to be there. With a lot of the women's items, they are ripped out. I find the men's tag is a little bit more sturdy, so it's more likely to be in there. I'm not sure if it's not designed to rip out, but it is. I do come across the tags on men items more often. And the men items will have size dots. This is a newer size dot. The size dot look will vary depending on the age of the item. And you'll notice the little letters and numbers in a circle around that extra large, and that will go back to the style and the color and the date. It's not, you can look up that information, but it's not totally necessary, but just be on the lookout for these. Another good way to distinguish between men's and women's, because sometimes it can be hard to tell, is Lululemon will always have men's sizes as, small, medium, large, extra large. The women's sizes will typically be numbers. Next brand is Supreme, and this is a brand that can sell for, over $100 depending on the item. And so like this sweatshirt here sold for almost $200. It's just kind of a basic crew neck sweatshirt. It has, a small logo. The other thing to be on the lookout for with Supreme is their collaborations that they have done with North Face. And you'll see this jacket here. I do have a picture of that for you, but that's sold for $250. That's, that's not like outside the realm of possibility for Supreme and North Face items. And so that's what the basic kind of Supreme tag looks like. And then this is what it looks like when it's with North Face. So you would see the North Face tag as well as Supreme. Next up is Affliction. So if you have not seen Affliction men's t-shirts before, I do find men's items sell much better than women's. They typically sell for quite a bit more. So Affliction does make women's items. They usually don't sell as fast or for as much money. The look of these Affliction t-shirts, they're pretty easy to recognize. I will say that there are a lot of dupes. There are a lot of companies who, try to mimic this style. So you want to be on the lookout, for those types of items and make sure that you're going for, true Affliction items. So what you'll see on a lot of these are wings or skulls. They'll oftentimes have they'll have crosses too. A lot of times they'll have heavy, destroying, I'm not sure the word I'm looking for. Fraying. They'll have like fraying around the neck, wear. They'll have fraying around the edges of the shirt hem or the sleeve cuff. And so that's the way those shirts are made. It doesn't mean that they're, not worth selling. And so you can kind of see that in this t-shirt here, where the edge of the neck is very worn. There's holes worn through it. That's the look. And with these tags, they're not a real tag. They're like printed on the material. And so that's kind of what those Affliction tags look like. Next up is Carhartt. And with Carhartt, you particularly want to be on the lookout for their jackets and coveralls, overalls, as well as their double knee pants. So I wanted to point these out because this is a crazy sale. Most resellers pass over these. They say, okay, this has all these paint stains, it's worn. I'm not going to buy it. Like paint's not coming out, right? Well, somebody decided, hey, I'm going to list this. This sold for $85. It is the double knee. So that's what you will want to look for with Carhartt is that double knee. Here's another pair. It has paint splatters, a lot of paint splatters. This one sold for $100. There's another pair here $139. That looks like it possibly has holes. I'd have to click in that to see. Here's another one with a hole in it that sold for $100. So do not trash these. Do not pass them by. They are not trash. You'll definitely want to pick these up. And a good method that I have found is to put them on auction, because a lot of times if there's holes in paint, you don't know like how much are people actually going to pay for this, and you would be really surprised on an auction how much this would go for. Here's a jacket that sold for $300. This is a very unusual style. It looks like it says Aztec, so it looks like it has Aztec print across the front of it. This is a jacket that I thought was interesting that sold for $279. Most of the jackets aren't going to sell for this amount, but if you look in the color of this, you're going to see what that looks like on the back side of the tag. So it's kind of hard to see in this picture, but it looks like it's a union made. And so that's what I would look for with this. The keyword here is Detroit jacket, and this is a blanket lined. So those ones are selling for a lot of money. That's kind of what the typical newer Carhartt tag looks like. Next up is Barber. And this brand makes a whole bunch of different types of men's clothes, shirts, pants, everything. But their biggest seller, the most money that you're going to get for their items, are with their jackets. And so you can kind of see the prices as we're scrolling through here on $130, $100, $140. These are very typical for these jackets, and I want to show you what the tag looks like. So this is the tag. It does have very kind of bubbly bold letters for their font, and then up towards the top of the tag you're going to see like a crown. That's going to be on most of their tags. You can kind of see it here, but you're really going to want to look for that font. Next up is Patagonia. Patagonia is one of my favorite brands to sell. They make so many great items both for men and women. And this is a brand where I do find that even older items can sell well, and they can sell for still quite a bit of money. This is a brand that really, really holds its value. And you can see some of the prices of what's being sold here. So there's this jacket that sold for $350. Here's a pair of pants. Maybe it sold for 50. I don't know. You'd have to go and look and see what that actually sold for. Again, you can find a video that I have for that to be able to look up when a best offer was accepted. But these are some of the prices that these items are going for. With Patagonia, if you have not seen this tag before, it does have this like mountain onto it. And most of the time you will find that on the exterior of the items as well, especially with their shirts or, jackets. This is Pendleton. This is the next brand, and this is another one of my favorite brands to come across. And the prices on the Pendleton items can be substantial. And so one thing that I do want to point out is just even the basic shirts. Notice how much these are selling for. So this one, there was an offer accepted, so it's kind of hard to say, but probably somewhere, close to $100 that sold for. This one sold for 60. These are just basic button-up shirts. They are wool. And I do find that a lot of times when I come across these, here's a snap that sold for 85. Here's a couple that went for over $100. I do find that when I come across these, a lot of times because they're wool, they will have holes in them. They will have moth holes. Some of them might even be torn. And so again, most resellers are passing that by. They're saying, okay, like this is garbage, should have been thrown away. I have picked those up personally to see, okay, how much could these sell for? Put them on auction. And even with those holes, they're selling for like $20 to $30. So if you could pick something up for, just a couple dollars, like, most people are going to just discard that. It can still sell for like a good amount of money, even given the holes. And so those are just the basic shirts, but check out like this sweater sold for $105 with 24 bids on that. So these prices are just, really pretty crazy. There's a lot of their older vintage items are going to sell for more money. And I have a couple of these tags here for you. This is a really, really old tag. I actually have not seen this style of tag in person. So if you do come across this one, This is this really cool Aztec kind of print coat that sold for $200, and that's what that tag looks like. But most of the time, you're going to want to be looking for this blue tag with goldish yellow letters, and that's what the majority of Pendleton tags look like. They'll say warranted to be a Pendleton, and then down here in the very bottom corner, in very small, the smallest font on that tag, will be the size in a little box. So this one says extra large, and that's what those Pendleton tags look like. Next up is Double RL by Ralph Lauren. Now, Ralph Lauren does make a lot of different lines, but with the Double RL, these are the items that are selling for the most money. And some of these items are selling for well over $100. So you can scroll through here and see like $169 for this shirt, $125 for this one. Here's a cardigan, probably sold for a few $100s. Here's a jacket, $650. So these are some of the prices that you're going to get with Double RL, and this is what that tag looks like. Next is Cool. This is kind of an outdoorsy brand, and they make both men's and women's. I do find that both of them sell very well, so don't, shy away from it. If it is a women's item, it will still probably sell well and sell for quite a bit of money. So these are some of the prices that are very typical. This is a pair of pants sold for 50, 35. That's going to be, pretty consistent. You can sell these items for those prices. Here's a jacket that sold for $50. And so if you have not seen Cool before, this is what the tag looks like. And it has mountain in the shield, and it says Cool, born in the mountains. And a lot of times on the items themselves, on the exterior of the items, you're also going to find that shield. So that's on the back of the pair of pants. You may find that on the chest of shirts. Next is a streetwear luxury brand called Fear of God. And these items are very kind of minimalist. They're pretty much solid, and then they may have like one word on them or Fear of God on them. One of their most popular is what's called essentials. And so like this sweatshirt, it just says essentials on it. That one sold for, $110. And these are some of the prices that you're going to see with this specific brand. Here's some that sold for, 50 on auction. And for this tag, this is, let's see if I got this up here. This is on the outside of the item, there's a little tag here that says Essentials, Fear of God. And that's what that inside tag looks like. So very pretty basic, but they can sell for quite a bit. Here's that essential sweatshirt that sold for $110 and that tag. So very, very, basic, minimalist tag. This is okay. Let me go to the next one. All right, Diesel men's jeans. These sell for anywhere from 40 to 60 or more dollars. This pair sold for $94. So these jeans do really hold their value. The pricing will depend on the size as well as the style. And if you're looking at that inside tag, it does look a little weird. I don't know why they do this, but you'll see that the size is actually like upside down compared to the rest of the tag. So it'll give you the style name, and then the size will be like upside down. Why? I don't know. Next is Harley-Davidson. Now you probably know Harley-Davidson as that motorcycle brand. And yes, the motorcycle jackets can sell for, $100, $200, $300. I believe there's some down here that sold, that leather jackets that sold for, 100 and whatever, 130. This is a button up or a snap. Is it a snap? A snap leather shirt. So that one sold for $289. But even like just a basic t-shirt, this one sold for $40. It's very typical to get, 30 to 40 for just a regular old Harley-Davidson t-shirt. Here's one that sold for $60. So certain ones are going to be more valuable than others. There's this sweatshirt here, just kind of a basic run-of-the-mill sweatshirt. There's nothing fancy to it. There's a small logo on the chest that sold for around $30. And this is what the tag in some of these more basic items is going to look like, where it's just going to have their, Harley-Davidson symbol. And so that's what you're looking for with those items. Next up is a brand that's called Mason Margiela, or you'll see it also labeled Mason Martin Margiela. I think I'm saying it right. This brand is a little bit weird. It is a luxury brand, but the tag is a little bit weird. So let me show you what I mean with the tag. This is what all of these items look like. So it's not going to, come out. They're not going to say the brand name right on the tag. They're going to have this weird number. Like it kind of looks like a calendar, and then there's a number circled. And so when you see this, you know from this tag, it is a Mason Margiela. Now, the number that's circled has to do with the category of item that this is. So like, is it fragrance? Is it shoes? So they have, 22 or 23 different categories. And then this one is specifically from their category number 14. You don't need to know what the categories are. All you need to know is when you see this tag, this is the brand. There's no other brand out there that does their tags like this. It's just weird. So you'll see made in Italy. This is on like the care tag inside, like the inside seam. And then you'll see down here at the bottom, it's very tiny where it says Mason Margiela. So if you're like, okay, I just want to confirm, that's where you're going to find the name on the tag. It's not like in the obvious spot. Next is a brand called Howler Brothers, and they make kind of like Western wear. It's a little bit kind of Western vibe, maybe is what I would call it. And they make a lot of snap shirts, button-up shirts. They do make some, hoodies and some jackets. And the tags on these are relatively standard. You'll see this kind of uh, font with the little like lightning bolt through it. And so that's what you're looking for with these. But for the prices that they're selling for, anywhere from $40 to $50 for, just a basic kind of shirt. This one sold for $100. This one, it says it has a mermaid. So I'm assuming that's why it does say rare. So with this brand, they're going to have certain styles. This one has like jellyfish on it. Totally random, but apparently somebody was looking for that and willing to spend $130 on that. So be on the lookout for this brand, and specifically, anything that is unique, anything that, is maybe collectible. Maybe this went to somebody who collects jellyfish. Who knows? All right, next is a brand that is called Outlier. And this is kind of another outdoor wear brand, and they do make men's and women's items, and both of them do sell well. But this is kind of the style of the items that they make. There's some button-up shirts, but the majority are going to be like that you might wear on a hike. They've got some joggers here, some casual pants. And with these items, like this basic shirt, it is a merino wool. That one sold for $39. These pants, this one sold for $100. This pair of joggers sold for $69. So this is kind of what you're going to get. This, I'm not sure what this one is. $225 for 13 bits. It says warm shirt. I'm going to assume that is a little bit maybe thicker, more towards a jacket. But these are, prices that you can get for this brand. And this is what the tag looks like. Now, I want to point this out that they do have this one, and it'll say Outlier, but the place where it is made is going to be different. So this one in particular says made in the USA with Swedish fabric, but they're not all going to say that. I haven't seen a rhyme or reason for like a certain country sells for more money than others. If it's Outlier, then it's probably a brand. It's probably an item we're selling. This one says made in Portugal. This is one that sold for $100. This one that's that basic kind of wool shirt, just kind of an athletic wear shirt. This one does say made in Thailand, so it's not it's not a country I would typically think of like like Sweden or so yeah, just be aware that this will say different countries on it, but it doesn't really matter at the end of the day. Next is a brand that's called Roar. And this brand, shirts don't sell for, gobs and gobs of money. There's some selling for about this is a set, I guess, for $50. But a lot of these are selling for, $30 to $40 would be a typical price range of this. They do have a similar look to the Affliction shirts where they have that embroidery, they have some crosses. They have a little bit of like a rockabilly look to them. But the difference is that most of their shirts are either going to be button up or snap. With Affliction, they're going to be more likely to be t-shirts. And so this is kind of the style. You're going to see those crosses, you're going to see those wings. And so in that way, it's very similar to Affliction. And the tags that you're going to find, this is what that might look like. And here's another tag that you might see on these items. Now, next up, I have my probably all-time favorite brand. Picking my favorite brand is kind of like picking a favorite child. Like a lot of them, I can't just pick one. This has got to be like least in my top couple of brands. And this is Filson. If you've not heard of Filson before, it is an amazing brand. I plan to take a trip someday to their facility in Seattle and go on a tour of this place because I think that would be awesome. And they make men's and women's. The men's typically sell for more. It's not to say that women's items are bad. Men's items will just sell for more. And so these are some of the items they make. They make a huge variety of items. There's button-up shirts, pants, vests. They make hats, bags, pretty much everything you can think of. They're all going to sell for a considerable amount. But what you want to be on the lookout for, if you come across one of these, it is your lucky day because these sell for a few $100s. And these are their jackets. And they're known for their Mackinac jackets. This is kind of the style where there's the pockets on the front. And this jacket, this one is one that looks vintage to me. This one sold for, $499.99. Let's round up to 500. This one sold for $269. So you can kind of see some of these prices of going, okay, like if I find one of these, this is going to be awesome. And I have found this. I did find a jacket several years ago. I don't have great pictures of it, but it looked in terrible shape. I took it to a dry cleaner, paid, $16.75 to have that dry cleaned and turn around and sold it for like $250. So it was totally worth it. I've also seen these jackets where there will be like a large rip in the arm. There will be, holes, there will be stains, and these will sell for, $100, even flawed. And this is what that Filson tag looks like. The age of the item will, the look of the tag might vary a little bit. And so if you do come across an item and you're not sure how old it is, was able to contact the Filson customer service. They were super great with getting back with me, and they had like a whole team on it of trying to identify the age of the item. And they had me send in pictures of the snaps for that jacket that I mentioned a little bit ago that I sold for $250. And so if you're not sure on the age of it, I would recommend having them date it for you. And they were actually, really excited to help me out on this. But this is what that tag looks like, and it will say Seattle on it. And they usually always have that diamond shape on it as well. Thanks so much for watching, and be sure to grab my free brands list in the link below this video, and I will see you in the next video to go over the best women's clothing brands to be selling online. See you there.